Oh god. Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, no, fuck you, bastard! Hello, YouTube. My name is G, and I am at the Kerbal Space Center. This game is awesome. It's just an awesome game, that's it. This is where I will, this is a space simulator game, where I will fire kerbals into space. Hopefully successfully. We'll try to keep down the casualties because we don't want anybody to get hurt or die. So first off, what we're going to do for the start is we're going to bring somebody into space. This is going to be our first mission. So we're going to try and get into space, not an orbit. So here is our pod. It will contain one kerbal, like one of these guys. You walk funny. It's going to contain one of these guys, and the first thing that we want is to get into space. So I am going to take some special fuel for something I'll explain later. So the big problem I'm having with getting into space with this is that I can't for the life of me control my rockets very well. So they'll get in some weird shapes around the earth, in like weird rotations around the earth, and I'm going to try and correct that with these. These are thrusters. These are going to use these two fuel tanks to keep my rocket safe and keep him steady while we're going up. These are better in space itself to stabilize, but I'm going to use them right now. What's this engine? Ooh, that's a big engine. Jesus Christ. So since we're just going to go into space, nothing particularly far, we're not going to the moon yet or something, we are going to use just a couple of fuel tanks, a couple of big fuel tanks. There we go. Then just a liquid fuel rocket, and then we're going to need a boost to get started. So we're going to use these guys. These are rocket boosters. These will just fire and start going, and the rest of the ship will go with it. These will, once they run out of fuel, these will stop and will just be dead weight. So we will, of course, we will get rid of them once they turn into dead weight. So I'm going to use this. This is the coupler. This means that I'll be able to lose the dead weight that I don't want anymore. So here we go. There you go. This is our first prototype of a rocket, but we're not finished yet with it. It still needs a few things. Then I also need to think about aerodynamics, because these will create a hell lot of drag resistance, and we're going to place some cones on here. On here, this is my pod. We're going to bring this back down, so it's not going to be in orbit. It will come back down to Earth, and for that I need something special, and it is so that my guy doesn't splatter on the face of the Earth. We're going to have him have a little parachute. So the next part in this is when these run out of fuel, and I'll decouple them, they will just fall down. Now, it can be that they fall down in really weird ways, so I will need to have something special. There are a few special, here they are. There are a few special rockets like these who will give them, let's turn them around, who will give them an outward thrust, so that they will get away from my spaceship. Now I'll need to configure something here. So I want my rocket. So first off, we have here our Separatrons and our big rockets. Now the Separatrons don't need to fire with the big rockets, so we're going to take these and put them here. Because when I decouple this, these need to fire so that they get away from my thing. Now also, I don't need this one, because this one can go in here as well. If you're playing this, probably you already know this, but it's easier to make each step like do a lot of things at once, so that you don't get confused with all of your steps. So here we have our spacecraft with one person that's going into space. Just to get into space, I think this will be a little bit overkill, but let's see. I just want to see what it will do. Okay. So we'll call this Space 1. Okay, let's save this one and let's launch it. Okay. First I'll quickly have a look at the settings, because it could be that my spacecraft will be far too loud and will drown out everything else. So there we go. Accept. No. Dang it, it crashed on me. And we're back. Somehow the game crashed on me. I don't know why exactly, but it's fixed now. So let's get Jebediah Kerman into space. Okay, lift off. And first I'm going to put on RCS. No, not RCS, but SAS. It will keep my SAS is what keeps me level to the point I'm fixed on. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, lift off. There we go. We're going into space. Look, he likes it a lot. These are going down, so the fuel in these is going down, and we are just getting, we're getting somewhere. Okay, so right now we actually don't have to do a lot, just making sure it stays going upward. Once these run out, it will be more difficult, because then we will see if this actually worked. Hold on to your hats. Okay. As you can see here, this is, if you're here, you're in space. So we're getting out of, look, these are getting a lot of drag. We're getting out into space, and these are going to go downwards. 3, 2, 1. There we go, and we go upwards and onwards into space. Well, that actually went pretty well. Let's see how good we are looking on the map. So here, this is the highest point of my flight. Normally, if I would bring him into an orbit, I would wait until he comes here and then fire here, so that let's take it back down. We'll take the throttle bit back down, because we're not going to stay in space. So usually I'll fire here, and then it will bring itself into an orbit, or just before I reach this point. So because we're not going to stay in orbit, just the first space flight was not an orbit, it will be into space and back down. So okay, how's he doing? Jebediah Kerman feels very good. He looks happy. Okay, so as you can see now, I'm in space. Look, How far down below? How does space look? It looks magical. Rocket Man. This actually looks like a really beautiful game. The physics are actually, I heard this game is they had like questions they sent to NASA to keep it realistic, to keep it very real, so that every point that they are touching, is that the moon? Let's see, is that the moon? That is the moon. The moon. Not the moon, it's the moon. Jesus Christ. But this actually looks really beautiful. So to get this a bit more forward, we're going to warp forwards until we're going to come back down, like we are doing right now. We're going down back to Earth, and Jebediah is looking really happy to get back down. So we are going down, and we're going down really fast. So maybe I'll not fire anything yet. We'll need to look at those effects, because look at that. Look at that. And we're going to deploy the parachute. And then we're going to back down, going to get back down, and it looks like we're going to make a landing. So maybe a little bit throttle to slow down my descent. Okay, because I want to keep as much of the ship whole as I can. There we go. The first man in space, Jebediah Kerman. Not historically accurate, but hey. This isn't history lessons. If you would be in history lessons, you wouldn't be watching this. Okay. Slowly as she goes. Oh, I lost my motors. Okay. So this is going to, it's falling down. Oof. And Jebediah Kerman is out. Oof. He is out. He is the first man that went into space. Look at him. Look at how aesthetic he is. He looks kinda derpy because his eyes aren't fixed the right way. But okay, so this is the first episode of me going into space. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, favorite, subscribe, all that jazz, whatever your heart desires. My name's G, and I'm out.